Salute! Hello everybody, this is B Harper from Supermaster.com and welcome back to another 32 Favorite Things video. Now, coincidentally enough, I'm going to speak to you about my appreciation, adoration, and quite possible worship of voice actors. Now, believe you me, it is completely coincidental that I decided to make this video while you can't see me, because as you all know, you also can't see a voice actor when they're turning in their performance. I mean, sure, you have, behind-the-scenes footage of the voice actors doing their thing, but for the most part, voice actors, in comparison to celebrities, the celebrities that you see on the big screen, they are more invisible, but no less prevalent. My love affair with voice actors has always been a long-standing one. Even though when I was younger, I didn't so much think of voice actors as a complete entity, I could not help but marvel about all these characters that their voices could create, basically. But recently, with the advent of AAA video games coming out, a lot more appreciation is being shared with the voice actors. Voice actors are finally being fully recognized, and they are becoming a bunch of very prominent figures in themselves. So I decided to make this video just as a tribute and a bit of a shout out to all the voice actors out there, even though they may not hear it. So where to begin with voice actors? Well, there's really not much to say, technically speaking. For as long as I've been alive, I've been watching cartoons and playing video games and, watching television shows with puppets. Puppets that are like all sorts of different colours and different shapes, but there's always a voice actor behind them. There is always somebody who's giving this otherwise inanimate character a life of their own. When it comes to voice actors, I feel they are, in some cases, somewhat of a disadvantage compared to the actors we see on the big screen. Now, that is not to downplay the talent of, those whose faces that we see, but physical actors, the ones we see in films and television, they are given a little more leeway with how they're able to express themselves. When they're playing a character, we see all of them. We see their expressions, we see the shifts in their eyes as they go through different emotions. But with voice actors, essentially what they are using is their voice. They are using their vocal instrument, and it is that instrument that indicates how a character feels. Sure, with video games you're given the luxury of, pixels and mocap and that sort of thing, but still, it all comes back down to the vocal performance by an actor. And voice acting is not an easy feat, from what I've heard from countless sources. Because when you are a voice actor, most of the time you are in a voice booth all by yourself. You don't necessarily have any fellow actors to play off, unless that the production is going a different way by, for example, the Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, fantastic game, and fantastic voice acting. They had the advantage of, playing out the scenes on a stage and working on their performances like they would a play. But in most other cases, voice actors basically have themselves to work with. They can only use their imagination about what another character is doing and what's going on in the situation. Voice actors aren't given scripts that are in linear order. I should say. So it is usually up to them to call forth a performance that matches that particular moment in a sequence. Because a voice actor's first day of work may start with the middle of a game rather than right at the start. It is very sort of a checkered process, and again, it is not easy. At least with actors, you are given more of an opportunity to explore your character with costumes, set design, other actors to, bounce your ideas off. But with a voice actor, it's mainly just you in that booth, as well as, say, a dialect coach or a producer and a director. So yeah, being a voice actor can be a lonely job, but all the same, when a VA is able to, pour every single emotion into their performance and truly capture what is going on in that moment that their character is part of, it's magical. And you will hear and see this in quite a few video games, especially in recent years, because video games have made a massive advance, and these days they are treated as a legitimate art form, and so they should be. The way I see video games is that they are just like movies, but you can interact with them. With a film, you are given the luxury of, say, sitting back and watching the action unfold in front of you. But in video games, that is you holding the controller and controlling the moves of the characters. You are essentially controlling the character's physical behavior. So in terms of what else is so great about voice acting is that it is a legitimate art form. It is a legitimate performance art. Now, I know a couple of people who say, "Oh, voice actors have it easy and blah blah blah. They can show up in wearing their pajamas and blah blah blah." Well, no, they can't, because a voice actor is still expected to be professional. They are still expected to come to that voice booth with most of their lines learned off the book, and they have to be able to replicate a line for every single direction that they are given. A director can ask a voice actor to deliver perhaps 100 different intonations of one line, and that would get exhausting and, dare I say, frustrating. But being a voice actor requires a whole lot of patience, and patience is a virtue when it comes to landing a really good job. So my hat's off to people who are able to just continually just be on the ball in every single moment until they get a really good product that they can use in the game or in the animation, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it is such an amazingly complicated and yet I would still think a rewarding career, because there are so many voice actors out there, and chances are you have heard all of them at some point. And that's another beauty about being a voice actor, is that they don't necessarily play the same character every time they do something. With certain actors, they essentially play the same sort of persona. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's what we expect, and that's what they know works for them. That's what gets them money. But voice actors are charged with bringing all sorts of different characters to life. They can be old, young, middle-aged. You could have a male playing a female and a female playing a male. It's a whole sort of mixed bag slashed with a lottery. You just gotta go with it and just commit to it. Which brings me to the voice actors I like. Well, quite frankly, I don't want to really go into who is better at their job, because the way I see it, people working in voice acting now have earned their positions by doing so many different things. They have earned their stripes, and we have seen the results of their characters. But I will say, for example, in terms of one person delivering a multitude of performances, Troy Baker. A lot of you out there know who this guy is. You've probably seen him. And to look at him, well, let's face it, the guy looks like a male model. But in saying that, he is a very articulate and perhaps far learned individual than I could possibly be. And here he is delivering countlessly different performances every single time. He voiced Joel in The Last of Us, and Joel is a very sort of gruff, middle-aged bear of a man. And then he goes to voice somebody like the Joker from Arkham Origins, somebody who's crazy. He's like, ah! I'm sorry, that was a very poor interpretation of the Joker's laugh. I will not do that again. But you know what I mean. You have so many voices inside of you as a voice actor, and it is up to you to really sort of bring it to the table and show the directors what you can do. The best part about voice acting is that with any other sort of performance, it's collaborative. Sure, it is difficult to do it by yourself in a voice booth, but you're still given guidance. And when you are given guidance for your performance, that's how the brilliance truly happens. You know, it takes two or more to tango in this case. You know, I think it's more like a conga line, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, there's really nothing much else I can say about voice actors that hasn't already been said. If you are a gamer, you probably know your voice actors like the back of your hand. But to those of you out there who think that voice actors are any less than the actors you see on screen, rethink that notion, because a voice actor works just as hard and under far more challenging conditions than somebody like Sylvester Stallone. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, that wraps up my video, and hopefully the next time another video comes out, you may be able to see my beauty's face again. Alright guys, take it easy, and oh, by the way, a special shout out to B. Jermaine, who has officially turned 30, so don't forget to say how old he is and ask him if he wants a cane or a crutch or something. Yeah. Okay guys, take it easy. Mwah.